Hello, welcome to the interview here on France 24. If you ask my guest today, Denis Volkov, what he does, he'll tell you he's a sociologist and a researcher at Russia's leading independent pollster. It's called the Levada Center in Moscow. But if you ask Vladimir Putin what Denis Volkov does, he'll tell you he's a, quote, foreign agent. And I'm not kidding. This week, on Monday of this week, September 5th, Russia's Ministry of Justice slapped the label of foreign agent on the Levada Center, the pollster, because why? Because it says under a 2012 law, it is one of a growing list of Russian nonprofit and NGO organizations that either accept foreign funding or engage in what is very loosely defined as, in quotes, political activity. So he's now here today, not just as a pollster, but as a foreign agent. Welcome to our studios, Denis Volkov.
Thank you. Thank you.
I want to ask, if I woke up one day and came to work and found out I was a foreign agent, I might be a little unsettled. How did you feel when all of a sudden you found out that you had this label applied to you?
Well, of course, it was not pleasant. But in a way, it did not come as a surprise because it came as first of all, is a result of an inquiry in our activities, which came, I think, 1 month ago. And at the same time, it was not the first organization that was called foreign agent in Russia. We were I think, 141st, and right after us, there is inquiry for example, in the activities of International Memorial, which is also a big human rights organization. So this is I would say, this is the trend.
And we were speaking earlier before, and you mentioned, I think, 141 Russian nonprofits have now been officially labeled foreign agents. I think you told me that it was about a third of them no longer exist. They found it impossible to work in Russia with that label. Can your polling institute survive? Are your days numbered?
Well, we hope not, but of course it will be. It all will depend on how the law is implemented, because if there is a big pressure on us, we can get a lot of fines. For example, as some of the organization named foreign agent, and the fines are very heavy.
But you can pay the fines, but officially, whenever you do business now, whatever you do on every document, anyone you do business with, you have to declare, you have to say, it sounds like a joke, I'm a foreign agent.
Yes, absolutely so. And this is the question, how will it be possible to go on with our activities? I mean, in the sense of doing public opinion polls, how people will be comfortable with answering the questions of foreign agent. And another question, whether many of our partners in Russia, first of all in Russia, will be comfortable to work with us to commission surveys to us. So this is the big question.
Denis, Levada is not the only polling institute. We call you the major independent poll. There are other polling institutes. Mm-hmm. What have you done differently from other polling institutes that got you this label? Why haven't the other polling institutes gotten the foreign agent label?
Well, there were several small research institutes that got this label. But speaking about the pollsters, there are 3 main pollsters in Russia who regularly publish the data about the daily life, the daily perception of what's going on in the country. And one of them is our organization, Levada Center, non-governmental, non-for-profit, and other two are state-sponsored agencies.
They ask different questions than you do?
Well, not necessarily, but as they're state-sponsored, it is the government who owns the results of their work, and the governments decide what they can publish, what they cannot publish. And our goal is to publish everything we done.
And I'll say for our viewers, one of the polls that you recently published was interesting. You asked Russians about what they thought of the United Russia Party. United Russia is the party that supports Putin in the Russian parliament. He's not a member of the party, but it's considered his party. And it showed declining popularity for United Russia. I imagine the Kremlin didn't like that too much. Do you think perhaps that's one of the reasons they chose now, give them the foreign agent label?
It's very hard to say because actually we were monitoring these trends for several months now, because the election will be next week. And
Parliamentary
elections, yes.
September 18th.
Absolutely. The trend down, the decrease in popularity of United Russia began 1 year and a half ago. So it's a very long trend. It was gradually sliding down, and actually the last poll didn't come as a result either.
So why now? What do you think was the trigger?
I think that the system which was built, this new law, foreign agent law, it has its own logic. So it's kind of unfolding and feeds on itself. New and more organizations are labeled foreign agent just to be more under pressure, under control, or just maybe the goal is just to diminish the number of organizations.
It's interesting, Denis, that you're saying this, because the head of your center, Lev Gudkov, he actually said today, and we're talking right now, we're September 9th as we're recording, he says this policy, this law is, and I'm quoting, discrediting and destroying all of the best that is in Russia's civil society. And it's not just a disgrace to the country, but more importantly, leads to the suppression of the sources necessary for its development. This is your boss saying this, and he says he wants to fight for Levada's survival. That's probably not going to help too much.
Well, but we must define the situation as it is, to better understand where we are now and what challenge do we have before us.
So what can you legally do right now? You said 141 organizations got this label. A third of them have disappeared. Some are still battling. How do you fight?
Well, we will use, obviously, all legal methods that there are. And even Peskov, Putin's spokesman, yes, said that there is a procedures to be exempt from this list. And a couple of organizations managed to do so. So again, it's all will depend on how the law will be implemented, how the Ministry of Justice will react, what decisions it will make, and this is an open question.
You will be going back to Moscow in a couple of days over the weekend. You will be going, by the time viewers are watching this interview, you will be back at work at Levada. So you're going to walk back into your work and continue doing your job just as you did before.
Absolutely. So what else can I do?
Right. There's not going to be a real change materially right now. What are Russians hearing? How much do Russians know about your work in Russia? What does the Russian population hear about Levada's surveys? How much do they know about this story? How much are they talking about the fact that you are now an иностранный agent, a foreign agent?
Well, I presume that the majority do not know about it, because in Russia it will be not broadly televised. I think so, and it is more of a story for independent media, independent video channels. There are still some, but they're not very much influential. They're influential with the elites, but not with the wider public, because wider public is dependent on the state-controlled media.
Who is going to be doing the surveys and the polling for the parliamentary elections? Last time there was an organization, I believe, Golos, which was also labeled, correct me if I'm wrong, a foreign agent.
Yes.
And they were sort of prevented from doing their work?
I would say it all started with Golos several years ago. But the people are still there. Monitoring of the elections is not so complex work as doing public opinion polls. And the people are there, and they try to find ways to do their work, because they're committed to their work, and they think that they're doing the right job for the country. So yes, it is harder to monitor elections in Moscow right now, but still there will be people doing this job.
We were speaking to one of your colleagues, a political scientist, the other day named Andrei Kolesnikov, and he said to us he sees, and I'm quoting him, a narrowing space for democracy in Russia. Do you agree with that assessment? Or are you more optimistic things might turn around?
Well, it's an open question. In a sense, the economic crisis creates some opportunity for democratic institutions. By that I mean that there are more and more conflict within the system. More and more people are trying to defend their rights, and there's at the same time more and more business and authorities together. I mean, corrupt when there is corruption within the authorities. They try to use public funds, public space. So there's from both sides there are more and more conflict, and in the sense this is the room for installment of democratic institutions like independent courts for these conflicts to be solved at the basic level. But at the same time, the elites, I'm not sure they are ready for introducing these institutions to make the system more stable.
And I think that's an interesting note to leave it on, the elites. I'll remind our viewers that Vladimir Putin's next potential election is in 2018, a couple of years from now. Could run again, maybe not. Who knows? But we're definitely at an interesting time right now in the Russian political landscape. Denis Volkov is a sociologist, researcher, has been our guest today from the Levada Center, which was labeled earlier this week as a foreign agent by Russia's Justice Ministry. But he's going to go back to work, and he's going to continue doing his job of asking Russian people what they think on various issues. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you.
And thanks to all of you for watching the interview on France 24.